Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue.
Check, testing, 1, 2.
With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy. The trailer park.
It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. This is the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, episode number 152 for July 16th, 2021. This is the podcast that is the podcast who remains. Huh? Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you here. Let me tell you, we don't have a huge show tonight, but we do have a fun show. And before we get going with our show, I do want to send a special thank you out to all the Patreon patrons who make this show and the other shows from Saturday Morning Media possible. Big thanks to them, and a huge shout out to our patron producers, Dorothy Pachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, and Vicky Sebring. If you would like to become a patron and help support this show and other shows, you can go over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. You know, it's the end of the week after the weekend of Galacticon, so not a big news week. In fact, I don't think there were any news stories posted to the main Filsinger Games website, so there's not a lot of major news. On the message boards, Todd, aka Tournament Master, reported that all pre-ordered sets have been mailed out, and it seems that people have started getting them. They have started receiving them, so if you've ordered it, yours should be in the mail, and it should be on your way. We are told that new teasers will start in August for the September releases, and that includes the new Future Shock set for CWF for in the Champions of the Galaxy universe, our Indies Deathmatch set, and the as of yet unannounced Legends release coming in September, along with quarter 3 of Promoter Prime. So teasers will start in August, so we've got a week or so before those start up in earnest again. So just be patient, everybody. Enjoy your new sets. If you want to pick up any of the new sets that were just released at Galacticon, you want to head over to filsingergames.com. That is the place. That is the place to go to get everything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't really have a topic this week, but then I thought of one, and I wanted to walk you through very briefly. This isn't going to be a long, drawn-out thing, but I wanted to walk you through how I start a new game year. This kind of this is more geared towards Champions of the Galaxy, but some of these things I do for Legends of Wrestling as well. And maybe these things will be helpful for you. Maybe this will be the most boring thing you've ever heard, so you can skip forward in the podcast if you want. But I just thought I would walk through, when I get a new set, here is what I do, especially at the beginning of a year, or the end of a year. Or at the beginning of a year, a new game year. This is what I do. First thing I always do is I read the handbook. I sit down with the handbook, I read it, I go through it, I learn about all the wrestlers, I learn about all the storylines. I don't take any notes, but I take mental notes of things that definitely I want to play out, other things that I have no interest in playing out. But I will definitely usually read the handbook twice, just to get myself familiar with the new storylines and the new cards. The next thing I will do is I will make myself a roster sheet and a feud chart. If you remember, like the very first or second Champions of the Galaxy set, there was this great feud chart in the back, and I just love those feud charts. So every year I make my own roster and feud chart. And these are basically just, I print them out on a piece of paper, and I just print them out so I can see them at a glance, to see who's with what team, who's with what manager, in case there's a lot of people who've been moving around from the beginning of the year. As the year goes on, I don't use it as much as I do at the beginning of the year, but I always like to have them. And I always make sure that I print them out. I put the wrestlers into teams on the roster sheet, and what I will normally do is I will make a quote-unquote official one, meaning I will break all the rosters into the teams and the tag teams and everything that is in the handbook. And then what I might do is I might make a duplicate of that official one and then make changes to it. For example, if there's some tag teams I won't use, I can delete them off of the sheet, or I move people around to fit certain storylines or whatever it is that I do. That's what I do. If you would like copies of the roster and feud sheets that I've done so far, I don't have every single year done. I have a lot of them done. They're just not put into PDF form. There will be a link in the show notes to a Dropbox folder with all of them in there. Now, if you're watching live as I'm recording this, the link to the Dropbox is not going to be in there. But once we are done here, I will put that link into the show notes, and I'll pin it as a comment on this video page so you can get there. And then just as I make new roster and feud sheets, I add them to this folder, and anybody can use this folder. Anybody can use them. For a lot of them, I have the Word file. So if you want to make changes, you feel free to make changes. I also just have the PDFs. So if you want to print those out, you can do those as well. But anyway, that is the next step. And I'll sit there with the handbook. I'll go through, I'll usually go through several revisions of this to make sure that I have them right. And then I print them out when they're ready to go. So that, so that I have them at hand when I start playing. The next thing I usually do is organize all my cards. And by that I mean I put all the new cards in plastic sleeves. And then I go through the entire stack of cards that I was using for the last game year and take out cards that won't be used or cards that got updated or whatever, put the new cards in, and then I will put those old cards, I'll store them away with the sets they came in back in these storage containers I have. So, and usually what I will do is I will use the roster sheet to, I will put the cards in the same order as my roster sheet, as that's just my starting place. I know that's a little bit of a, obsessive thing to do, I guess. But it's just how I start the year, because then I can just look at the cards and I can go, okay, this is a team, this is a team, this is a team. These guys are together. Okay, over here, they're fighting with them. Okay. And that just makes it easier for me to start things off. The next thing I will do after that is I will update my ranking spreadsheet. Now, if you're watching the video cast as I'm doing this live, or if you're watching it on delay, I haven't updated the spreadsheet that you now see on the screen, because I'm still kind of deciding who will wrestle as a singles wrestler and who will be in tag teams in 21-37. But what I do is I go through, I add new names. If a wrestler has left or a wrestler has gone from a singles wrestler to a tag team wrestler, I will move them to the appropriate sheet on my ranking sheet. And if somebody is retired or left, I will drop them down onto this big list of all the rankings that I have for my whole Fed, just so I keep everything nice and clean, and I just see the wrestlers that I'm currently using. The other thing I'll do when I'm doing this is see if I have to vacate any titles because of someone leaving. This year, I don't think I have to. I think everyone who was my champion at the end of the year, or a champion at the end of the year, is still with the Fed. Now, Aethrin Overmaster is my Galaxian champion, and he got a bit of a downgrade, so it'll be interesting to see how long he holds on to that belt. He just won it on the last card of my year, so of 21-36. So it'll be interesting to see how long he keeps it with his downgraded card, but we shall see. And so that pretty much takes care of updating my rankings spreadsheet. And then the very last, second to last thing I do is I kind of breeze through last year's results. I don't obsessively go over every single word, but I just look and say, okay, who was winning here? What is my big feud? What is happening? And I do this because in the past, when I start a new year, there has been such a break in time from when I finished the year to when I start the new year that I'll forget some storylines, and I just want to build a little bit more of a cohesive history. So I will go through and I will read my old results for the previous year, especially the ones, like the last 6 or so cards. I'll read a little bit closely so that I don't drop any major storyline that I was kind of building up to or anything like that. And then at the very end, the thing I will do is book my perennial. I will get ready to book my first card. And usually when I book a card at the beginning, if like somebody comes in and they're a main event player and they're brand new, they won't get a title shot right away. They will get some lower matches to kind of build up to where they might get a title shot. But things like, Siege and Fist were in the Fed last year. They're just upgraded now. So they could start right away in the title hunt and possibly get a title shot. So anyway, that is just very briefly what I do when I'm starting a new year. And I don't know if that's interesting to anybody, but I just thought I would go through it since this was sort of a slow news week, and just so you can check out. Again, I will put that link to the Dropbox in the show notes after the show is over here. And coming soon, I will have a review of 2137 and a review of the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame set. But I wanted to sit with them for a bit. I want to play a few more cards with them before I give out a review. I want to go over the storylines a little bit more for 2137. So stay tuned for that. That is coming, but it's just not coming right now. Moving on to the match of the show. Now, here's the thing. Last week, there was a bit of an issue. Last week, we had Shayne versus Rowdy Roddy Piper. Because Rowdy Roddy Piper is not available online, I did a fan-created create a character version of this new card. And for some reason, I'm not 100% sure why, when I clicked save, it didn't save everything in the right place. Roddy Piper didn't have the correct reversals on his defense. And so I have decided that I am giving Rowdy Roddy Piper a rematch. And just to make it interesting, and just because I know my man Shayne would not back away from anything, this is going to be a no disqualification, no count out rematch. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Let's head to ringside. And we've got Shayne versus my fan-created Rowdy Roddy Piper. And I got all the stats in the right place. I double, triple checked them. The only thing I have to watch is if we roll level 3 defense 1, I have to remember that Piper can roll this foreign object disqualification, or this foreign object finish. He could roll for it. So I don't want to forget that. So I will pay. And I did last time. So I wanted to, anyway, I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's ring the bell. We will roll for initiative. Shayne defending the title against Rowdy Roddy Piper, and Shayne has the initiative, and he hits a brain buster, and he does have the power, so that will work. Roddy Piper rolling on level 2 defense. He is hurt. Shayne rolls on level 2 offense and hits the Wrestlers Roundup. Big 3 there. That's a roll 4, hurt 2. So hurt 2 there by Rowdy Roddy Piper. Shayne hits the Real Ordeal level 3 move, and Piper's rolling his pin right away. Holy cow. The target is 2. The roll is a 7, so 1 fatigue token for Rowdy Roddy Piper. Level 3 offense. Frontier Justice 3, add 1 disqualification. This is not a disqualification match. There's no DQs. So we are going to add 1 to Rowdy Roddy Piper. We are going to roll on level 3 defense. That is a roll 3, hurt 2. So no foreign object activation there. He is hurt. Shayne rolls on level 2 offense, hits the Real Ordeal again. Wow, Shayne has been in control, and Piper's rolling his pin again. Holy moly, the target is 4, the roll is a 10. Piper needs to come back, and now is the time to do it. He is now at 3 fatigue. Shayne rolls on level 3 offense, out of the ring. This could be bad news. Throwing Rowdy Roddy Piper out of the ring, and it is. Roddy Piper grabs Shayne by the leg, drags him out of the ring, and smashes him into the turnbuckle post, throws him back in, and now Piper Piper's rolling on level 3 offense, hits a big swinging neck breaker on the champ, and Shayne is hurt. Piper now back in control, into the ropes, throws Shayne into the ropes. Shayne comes off with a powerful flying shoulder tackle and will roll on level 2 offense. Reversal there by Shayne, hits a lariat on Rowdy Roddy Piper, hurting him. Shayne rolls again on level 2, rolls a Rustler Roundup 3. Oh no, Rowdy Roddy Piper rolls a 3. That's not a 1. Hurt 2. So Shayne continues his assault, hits the Real Ordeal again, throwing everything he has at Piper, and Piper, oh no, is rolling his pin. Ladies and gentlemen, the target will be 5. The roll is a 12, so a big kick out there. Piper now at 4 fatigue. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen, rolling backbreaker 3 by Shayne. It's a choice H. Death jump is a B. Or a flying elbow that would work on a 6 or less. Shayne is going to go to the top. He is going to jump off. And the opponent blasts you with a flying clothesline from the top ropes. You're in trouble. Shayne is going to roll on level 3 offense. Frontier Justice again, adding another fatigue token to Piper. Holy moly, he is now at 5 fatigue, and he rolls 1, hurt 2. All right, so let's check this out. Roll 2 dice. On rolls of 2 to 5, Piper rolls a foreign object. He needs a 2 to 5 right now. That's desperately what he needs. We roll the dice. He gets a 7. So it does not work. And Shayne's going to roll on level 2 offense and hit a lariat on Piper. What a match here. Piper refusing to go down. Look at that. He just shook off everything Shayne's throwing at him, rolling a dazed 1. And Shayne hits a, holy cow, a shotgun drop kick 3. So it's going to knock Piper all the way back down. He rolls a hurt 2. Shayne rolling again into the turnbuckle, throws Piper into the turnbuckle, and he is crushed by a big kick as Shayne rolls on level 2 offense, hits that Rustler's Roundup, and rolling his pin again. Oh no, could this be it? The target is a 7. The roll is an 8. Piper able to kick out, gets another fatigue token, now at 6 fatigue. Shayne rolls a spinning heel kick 3 on Rowdy Roddy Piper. He rolls a 3, hurt 2. Shayne rolls and hits Real Ordeal again. Man, Shayne is just not letting up on this. Roll 5, down 3. Oh no, Shayne throws him out of the ring. Now this is a mistake, Shayne. The opponent comes out to attack you. Wild Brawler ups the wrestler with the better ring rating. They are equal, so Shayne will win this battle. Roll on level 3 offense. And the Frontier Justice again. Another fatigue token. Now Roddy Piper is at 7 fatigue. He rolls on level 3 defense, hurt 2. Oh my god, yeah, Piper is bleeding is an understatement. Death Valley Driver here on Rowdy Roddy Piper. Roll is a 2. Oh, wait, hold on. Stop. I'm just seeing here now, Piper rolled a 1. So we have to go back 2 moves. Forget this Death Valley Driver. We have to roll 2 dice to see if Piper... He rolls a 5! He hits the foreign object! All right, so he does hit the foreign object on Shayne. So Shayne will roll his pin. The target a 1, so that's not going to happen, but he is going to get 1 fatigue token, and now Roddy Piper is in control. He hits a swinging neck breaker. Oh no, Shayne rolls his pin again. Is this the big comeback? The target is 2. The roll is a 5. Shayne gets another fatigue token. He is now at 2 fatigue. Piper continuing his assault, throws Shayne out of the ring. Now, just like I would say that's a mistake to Shayne, that's a mistake to Piper. The opponent comes out of the ring. A Wild Brawler ups the wrestler with the better ring rating. Well, they're equal, so Piper will win. He will roll on level 3 offense and a running double sledge choice H. So a death jump. He is going to go for this death jump on Shayne. Piper going to the top. The opponent close to the top. Oh no, Shayne throws him off the turnbuckle into the ring. He goes down hard. Shayne rolls on level 3 offense with a spinning heel kick 3. Oh no, hurt 2. That is a roll 3 on Piper. Death Valley Driver. Shayne was like, you took that Death Valley Driver away from me. I want it now. Piper is down. Shayne hits eye for an eye, a +2 finisher. This could be it. The target is an 11. The roll is a 4. He fought like hell, but ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still champion is none other than Shayne. All right, so you let me know who Shayne should fight next week. A hell of a match there by Piper, but that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! That was an exciting one. That one was really, really great. Moving on from the match of the show to the question of the show. Last week I asked, what was your favorite moment from Galacticon weekend? And we had a lot of great answers. Pete Beck says, favorite Galacticon moment on a personal level, Pete Beck level, winning the 2037 tournament and getting into the Galacticon Cup tournament and an FTR spot. I think he means 2137. Overall, it had to be the P3 and Tyranny cards auction segment. Holy cow, we were blown away by the result of that auction. Honorable mention goes to the Galacticon Cup final match between Omega and Infinity. Holy cow, that was a great match. Ronan II says, loved my first Galacticon, will be there again. ScottyBoy9999 says, I didn't get as online as much as I could, but my favorite moment was hearing from Tom. I always like listening to what our great creator has to say. Derek Bauman says, this is going to sound lame, but my favorite moment was everything. This was my first ever Galacticon, and hopefully they will still have the virtual component to them. Derek, I could not agree with you more. Gordon Smack says, my favorite moment was the Omega Infinity match. That was crazy good. Jared B says, coming off a big win at Galacticon, Infinity should challenge for the next podcast title. So maybe that's who Jared wants for the next match. But his favorite moment was getting a hard release window for the next CWF set and something COTG related release in Q4 really got me interested. Jason PDSI says, my favorite moment was playing Bob Backlund card in the Legends tournament, went 1-1, beating Gotch and losing an amazing match to Thez. I can't wait to get my hands on the whole set. And Brock Riblet wraps everything up here that says favorite moment absolutely was the Dark Menace interview. That was pretty fantastic. The question of the show for this show, going off of me showing you how I start a new year, do you have any sort of housekeeping at the start of a new game? Do you do any sort of housekeeping at the start of a new game year? Or do you just start playing matches? Answer in the comments below. I would love to know what your sort of traditions and things you do at the beginning of a new game year, and that can be for Legends or it can be for Champions of the Galaxy, either one. So moving on, we've got an announcement to wrap things up here tonight. The next name for the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3 set. Let's go through who we've released so far. Todd Kennelly is going to be in the set. Beef Candy, the team of Richie Slade and Flex McCallion, they're going to be in the set. Levi Shapiro with an updated card. Will Allday, brand new card, first time. Dan Joseph getting a brand new card. And you know what? There's 8 cards in this set. We have announced 6 of them. Let's just get the last 2 out there, shall we? Finishing off, rounding off the set for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3 is none other than the tag team of Midnight Heat. The Midnight Heat. That's right. They are going to be the final 2 names arriving from the Pacific Northwest, where they are the current Defy Tag Team Champions. The Midnight Heat is comprised of Rockin' Ricky Gibson and Precious Eddie Pearl. Before adopting their current tag team name and monikers, the Midnight Heat were known as 4 Minutes of Heat, and Gibson and Pearl were known as Rock God Ricky Gibson and Freak Nasty Eddie Pearl. Despite some early successes, including a win over Beef Candy, Gibson and Pearl as 4 Minutes of Heat were unable to win the United Wrestling Tag Team Championship. But now, under their new manager, the highly caffeinated Guy Tweakacetti, Gibson and Pearl have a new tag team name in Midnight Heat and a new attitude which has led them to recent victories and the debut of their song Heat Street. With Tweakacetti in their corner, Midnight Heat are pursuing the United Wrestling Tag Team Championship while partying long after midnight. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is your full roster for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3, Midnight Heat, rounding it out. Mark, I don't believe he has any relation to Robert Gibson, but I could be wrong, but I don't think he is. This is your roster for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3. The cards are currently, as we speak, being laid out, and we should have them at the printer by late next week or the week after, and then they will be in the mail to you. Stay tuned. You don't need to contact me right now. I will, to make sure that you get a copy. These are going to be free. Did I mention they're going to be free? To make sure you get a copy, just stay tuned, because I'm going to have all that information. Now, in that bio that was so wonderfully written by our friend Zeke, it mentions that Midnight Heat has a song called Heat Street. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your song of the show. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Heat on the Street, the song of the show. Yes, Michael Brada is saying could have been on the wrestling albums of 30 years ago. Absolutely. It sounds just like that. So Midnight Heat are the final names for the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3. And let me just say this. If Midnight Heat is here, could that mean Guy Tweekazetti is not far behind? Stay tuned, because Act 3 isn't the only Championship Wrestling from Hollywood release we are planning this year. Super excited to have all of them. Hey, we're going to wrap things up now. I want to tell you about what else is on the channel, on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/GWF Promoter. We've got the Origins 2137 set overview. We've got the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame set overview. We've got the Origins 2137 Hall of Fame set unboxing. And we have Hollywood Elite Wrestling card number 41 featuring the new Tragos Thez wrestlers. Okay, so as we wrap up here, I just want to say that next week, next Monday, there will not be a podcast episode next Monday. We're going back to just Fridays from now on. So we will see you next Friday. And we want to invite you to check out the other great Filsinger Games related podcasts. Uncharted Territory just released an amazing podcast that you have to go over and listen to. They paid tremendous respect to a fellow promoter, and it's really a great episode, so definitely go check them out. Please check out After Further Review with Steve Tower here on YouTube. Also, Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. Of course, Roll Up, the Filsinger Games official podcast, and Dizzy Dice podcast, which I'm really hoping Lee starts up again. Come on, Lee, you could do it. Huge thanks to all of them for all their support as well, and a huge thanks to you for listening. There is an audio version of this podcast that is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Filsinger Games in your favorite audio store and it should pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. You can check out my personal feds at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. And this episode is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. Huge shout out to James Lawrence, Derek Bauman, Michael Bratta, Mark Ferguson, Christopher Merriman, making sure, and Todd for being here and taking part in the live stream. Thank you all. I will talk to you soon. I will talk to you 1 week from today. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.
I'm the original U.S.